Okay, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Think Big podcast. It's Tuesday night, my favorite night of the week. If you are just tuning in and you're on YouTube, what's up? If you are on Instagram, I want you to come over to the live YouTube. I'm excited. Guys, we're going to be diving in deep tonight with this episode. So before we get started, if you already know the sort of value you get on this channel, do me a favor, already hit the like button right now so we can get the algorithm working for us and share this episode out with a friend right now. Let's get as many people on the call tonight because I'm going to be sharing some interesting lessons. I got some notes I'm excited to go through. And I've been looking forward to this episode basically all day. I mean, I love the Think Big podcast. And what's important is I want to frame this up. I want to frame tonight's episode up for you so you have a sense of where I'm coming from tonight. Also, I see some comments inside here. I see Paige is already in here. What up, Paige? Good to see you. Happy to have you here. But I want to frame this up with this understanding. Intelligence is being able to learn from your mistakes. As entrepreneurs, we have to learn from our mistakes. As growth-minded individuals, we have to learn from the lessons in our own lives. So that's intelligence. Wisdom is being able to learn from the mistakes of others. We don't necessarily need to make every single mistake on our own. Now, with that, I'm going to add my own caveat to the fact that oftentimes we want to avoid touching the fire. And yet, experience is how we learn. Our own experiences in life is an experiential process. And so, my goal here tonight is to share lessons with you that I'm learning from Tony Hsieh, the founder he was one of the founders of the company Zappos, which sold, forget this, $1 billion to Amazon. One of the largest exits out there, $1 billion exit. I'm sharing the lessons from his life, from his entrepreneurial journey, from the things that I'm learning and taking in for myself. Now, I want you to be able to learn from his lessons and learn from my lessons as well. Caroline looks like she's joining us over here as well.
Greg.
So Caroline was on the phone with Greg Clark. So I'll let you plug your stuff in if you want to plug it in as well. But and yeah, I got the screen down there because it was the lags when it's up here. But yeah, we'll fix that later. But I want to talk about this because as we go through these lessons, I think I have 14 lessons that I have written down, and it's coming from I left the book downstairs. It's a book that I'm reading called Delivering Happiness. It's the story of Tony Hsieh. Tony Hsieh was the CEO, the former CEO of Zappos, the shoe company that you guys are familiar with, that sold to Amazon for $1 billion. So massive exit. This book is right now becoming my favorite book of 2025. I was telling Caroline, like, I don't want to put it down. I'm at that season of I'm wanting to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning just so I can read it. And so let's jump into this because the first lesson I think is going to resonate with a lot of people. Most of us get into entrepreneurship because, let's be honest, we're broke and we're trying to make money. We're trying to change our financial trajectory. We want to do better for ourselves and people around us. And here's the interesting thing. Lesson one is poor people always find everything to be too expensive because poor people pay for everything with their time. What do I mean by that? As I was going through this book, there was a thing I noticed that Tony, when he was a younger man and he wanted to start buying things, his family, they were middle class, but they didn't just give money to him. He had to go and earn for what he wanted to have. So if he wanted to buy something from a magazine, if he wanted to have a new toy, he had to actually go out and earn the money. And so at a young age, he started to learn how to think like the wealthy, which is wealthy people never pay for anything. Nothing's too expensive for a wealthy person because a wealthy person learns how to buy what they want through their creativity. They pay for things through their creativity. If he wants something, he understood that I need to discover, how do I get what I want? How do I go out and actually build something, build a product, build a service, and sell it to make money? Poor people are constantly in a place where you're trading their time for money. You go to work and you count money in the relationship of time, right? Dollars per hour. How much do you get paid bi-weekly? What's your yearly salary? And so no matter what, everything is always going to be more expensive to a poor person. Everything's going to be more expensive to a poor person because a poor person is always paying for things with their time. You're literally trading your time. You're trading your life for anything you want. So it doesn't matter how much money you make. It's always too much because effectively you're trading your life force for it. The wealthy people, we start to understand, can I create something to make the money I want to have? And so Tony, when he was a young man, he created a worm selling business. He created a button making business. He created businesses that were able to help him produce money in order to be able to buy the things he wants. I want y'all to think about that in terms of your own life. Right now, if you feel like things are too expensive, what it means to me is you only know how to collect money and get money for trading your time. Instead, I want you to create money out of creativity. Learn how to build wealth out of creativity. Learn how to create solutions to problems. Typically, the bigger the problem you have, right? The bigger problem, the bigger the paycheck. Learn how to create solutions to bigger problems. This was something that Tony tapped into at a young age. So that's lesson number one. Lesson number two is create room for serendipity. What do I mean? Create room for serendipity and create room for inspiration. When I say serendipity and inspiration, this is an interesting thing. The first company he ever formed was a company called, I'm blanking on the name right now. It'll come back to me in a second. But effectively, this first company he created, it got formed from him and one of his friends from college sitting in a dorm room one night, bored out of their minds, and just playing and trying different things and trying to solve different creative problems that they were having. Ultimately, what started to happen was, let's got a text message from you.
Yeah.
Ultimately, what started to happen is as they were in that place of boredom, new ideas came to them. So often we are looking to, like, we do this all the time. Like when we're bored, what do? We pick up our phone, we start scrolling on Instagram, start scrolling on TikTok, start scrolling on Facebook, you basically start scrolling everywhere. And you actually distract yourself away and block yourself from the blessing of inspiration. You block yourself from being able to come up with creative ideas. In fact, I just got home from Reno yesterday. And while I was on the plane, I made it a point to not open up my phone and start watching a movie because I wanted to allow inspiration to hit me. I wanted to allow new ideas to hit me. And as I was doing that, I started thinking of creative things that I want to implement in my business, things on how I can come back and work with partners better, work with being able to get more deals done, work with being able to produce more income, work with figuring out how to just simply make business more enjoyable and have more fun doing it. And so that's a big thing is, are you creating space for serendipity? Like Caroline, I know every morning you regularly make it a point to go out and you'll go for walks in the morning, right? And do you ever find that some of your better ideas come to you outside of like basically like normal work environment?
100%. No, I actually find that I'm more successful when I get out of we've talked about this because you go to coffee shops, when I
Mhm.
leave where I'm at all the time because it inspires more creativity. And I also find moving is huge for me. So when I'm moving my body, I just function a lot better. So today I had a few meetings. I was in here in the podcast studio, and then our gym is just beyond there. So I was taking another call where you said to listen in and interact. I was lifting weights. So I actually have more ideas come to me when I'm moving, but when I'm outside of the mundane. And I have a lot more success when we talked about Jerry Seinfeld,
Yep.
where he every morning, is it about an hour? What does he do?
Yeah, so every morning Jerry Seinfeld sits down for an hour and his whole thing is he will write jokes, he writes comedy, he writes for an hour every single day. And so he creates that space of serendipity and he talks about how even if he can't get any creative ideas, he still leaves that space open where he will just sit there and he's like, it's not even that I necessarily have to write jokes because some days like jokes won't come. He's like, but it's during this time I can't do anything else. So even if he's frustrated, if he gets writer's block, he won't immediately go to pacify it with a distraction. And so often we do this. In fact, I was telling you something that I'm getting ready to implement in my own life is a personal dopamine detox where it's stepping away from all the quick fixes for boredom. Stepping away for not forever, because I'm never going to give up like
Yeah,
watching
yeah.
TV and movies and stuff like that. I enjoy that. But being able to have that season of let your body, let yourself, let your mind go through the boredom because you're going to find that some of your best inventive, creative ideas will come from that. I mean, literally, his first company that he sold for a $250 million exit came as a result of him and his friend being bored in their room. So that's lesson number 2.
I like it, but I don't want you to finish on that. One of the things I also noticed, some of the most successful people make money in millions because they solved something when they were bored. They
Mhm.
needed something and it was annoying, and they're like, you know what? I have some time. I'm bored. Let me find the solution to this problem. And if we pacify ourselves and we're always consuming content, we're not producing, we're not taking the time to just write out. Like, the crazy thing is, guys, I was like, what are you doing? Marlon took notes preparing for this podcast because you've been enjoying this book. Every time I see him, he's like this deep book reading.
I love this book right now.
Yeah, but it's inspiring you. It's helping you get your business to be better. And like, we just talked about this, continuously working on sales, continuously being in masterminds with people that are at a higher level. And I posted on my YouTube or on my Instagram for everybody on.
Real quick, can you guys hear Caroline? Is the audio coming through clearly?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. If you guys can hear us, please let me know. I hope you guys can hear me. But if you can't, I'll wait 5 more seconds for the delay for you guys to say something. But if you can hear me, you should. I have a loud voice. I made my Instagram live. Yes. What's up, Poppy Goose?
Jeremy.
One of the things I posted was what's costed me millions. And I was thinking this morning, actually, when I was walking, one of the biggest phrases that I say and I repeat a lot is, you can't lose if you don't quit.
Yep.
You can't lose if you don't quit. And I just want to say this for everybody because I was just on the phone with somebody else that we know that's doing deals and kind of in a lull. And I think I'm successful right now and I'm making more money than I've ever made. I'm having a larger impact than I've ever made because I've been in it longer. And I used to move from thing to pacify or try and solve other problems. I'm like, you know what? I'm not very good at this. So let me go focus on another thing that I'm actually good at. And I'm messing with the opportunity. Zane's in here. What's up, Zane? I'm messing up my opportunity and I'm starting back over at zero and a new project that's not actually going to serve me. It's going to take me just as long as I would have if I would have stuck with task number 1. And I found, because I've stuck with helping homeowners that are behind on their payments, they're in pre-foreclosure, and getting new people started on how to do this as well, I'm making more money. The people around me are making more money. I'm having a larger impact. I'm helping more families. And I've just been able to, I've had the opportunity to afford that because I've stuck in the boring and mundane.
Yep.
I think, and as a girl who has ADD and I like that quick dopamine hit, I mean, we talk ADHD people, caffeine doesn't impact me the way it does Marlon. Like, caffeine's kind of like okay, it's going to mellow me out. It's just different how our brains work. And I realize when I take myself out of situations and I allow myself to just scribble ideas and brain dump, 1, I'm less anxious, and 2, I'm more productive.
Yeah.
So that was a big point I wanted to just add.
Well, you know what? And it's funny, right? Because I think I told you this last week or 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I was out on a date with a girl.
Mhm.
And I was asking her what her I like asking this of anybody, quite frankly. I was asking her what her biggest lesson of the last 12 months has been. And I really liked her answer because it's so deeply in alignment with this. She said, right now, I feel like the lesson life is teaching me is how to stay put and sit through the boredom. And I was like, what do you mean by that? She's like, I always felt like in life, anytime things got a little bit boring, anytime things got a little bit slow, I immediately picked up and ran to the next thing. And now I'm getting a little bit older. I'm realizing I never gave time for things to really flower, for things to really blossom. And so being able to sit through effectively the boring thing, being able to sit through, that's how you peel back the layers of the onion. Because to your point, people are seeing the success you're having in business now. But little do they know, this is what, year 5, year 6?
This is year 5 of me real estate investing. And this is like year 2.5 of me actually making good money real estate investing because I was doing all the shiny objects and I was focusing on the wrong. So that was the biggest waste. I mean, and now I'm even more profitable faster because I'm narrowing down what I'm focusing on further. I love that Brandon's on here. I told Brandon to come and see you. So
Let's go.
Brandon?
What's up, Brandon? So, and I like what Steven says. I need to be around the right circle of people. And so ultimately give yourself that permission to suffer through it a little bit. Like, allow yourself to sit through the discomfort, to wade through it. Because if you stay in it longer, you are going to find on the other side, there is something for you. But don't just immediately try to pacify the discomfort as soon as it comes. I promise you the discomfort serves the purpose. So that's lesson number 2. Lesson number 3. This one resonated with me so much. I wrote down know what you're building and be honest with you. And I want to explain this, right? When I say know what you're building, because inside the book, Tony was talking about when he started building, it was called Link Exchange. So before Zappos, before he became the CEO of Zappos, he had founded a company called Link Exchange. And this was the product born out of boredom with him and his friend in a dorm room. And as they were building it, keep in mind, he's like 21, 22 years old. They're fresh out of college. In fact, they did the same sort of entrepreneurial thing we all do, where they got excited about something and then go on and quit their jobs to go all in on it.
Yeah, why not spend more time on this?
He goes all in on this thing. They're not really making a whole heck of a lot, but he's just enjoying the fact that he's living life on his terms. Like that was his big desire. He had a good job, strong job. He graduated from Harvard. He was making good, steady money, but he was like, I am bored out of my mind. So they go all in on building this website, this online service called Link Exchange. And just about 7 or 8 months into building this business, they sit down with a gentleman who offers to buy it from them for $1 million. And he and his friend are like, $1 million. Like, holy moly, like this thing that we built out of boredom, they didn't have a plan to exit. Like these are not well-seasoned entrepreneurs. They don't have mentors and coaches. They're just kids goofing around and they get $1 million offer on their business. So they sit down and they really have a conversation about, do we take the $1 million and run? It's the most amount of money either of them had ever seen. Neither of them had anticipate making that kind of money, at least not nearly this early in their life. And so they sit and they think about, well, if we got this money, what would we do? Like, well, honestly, we would end up just taking the money and trying to go and build something else. So, you know what? We're not afraid to lose the deal. They go back to the gentleman and say, look, we'll sell, but we'll sell for $2 million. Because in their mind, they're like, look, if we sell it, we each walk away with $1 million. That's a pretty cool thing. The guy actually comes back and says, look, I don't have the $2 million, so I can't buy it. And they're not worried. Because they're enjoying building this business that they're building. About 1.5 years later, guess what happens? They get another offer from another gentleman to buy the business for $20 million. And now at this point, they've got a couple of employees. They got a couple of people on their team. So they say to him, we need to go back and we really need to talk to the team and consider whether or not we exit. And so Tony takes a weekend to think about what he would do if they exited. And he looks at it. He's like, okay, well, financially, I would buy a condo. I'd put a movie theater inside my house. I would buy a new bike. And that's it. Like he was like, I'm surprised. Like I'm running out of things that I'd even spend the money on. He's like, because what I would really end up doing is going back and building something with my best friends again. I'd go back to building something that I enjoy doing because this is what I enjoy doing. And so he actually comes back at the end of the weekend and he talks to his partner and he's like, dude, I don't want to sell because I don't, like if we sold, all we're going to do is get money and then just try to rebuild what we're building. But we're already in the middle of building. Like we try and build another business, but we like the business we're building right now. And the partner says the exact same thing. Like, yeah. And that's when it became clear to him, they're not building this thing just for money. If your only goal is building for money, you're probably not going to build anything noteworthy, but you've got to know what you're building your business for, because the fact that they weren't just building for money, when they told the rest of their team of employees, like, hey guys, we're not going to take the $20 million. He said the entire office space, and it was about 25 people they had hired at that point. Everyone had a sigh of relief. Like, thank God, we're happy you're not selling. We didn't want you to sell. Even though they would have gotten a portion of the money, they actually didn't want to sell because they're like, we're not here for the money. We came here so that we can grow something together and we love what we're growing.
Well, not only that, you're probably going to get to this and I might be jumping ahead of you, but something we've been talking about a lot because I'm talking about growing my team and growing my business. What is one of the most important things he mentions in the book and is important for businesses altogether? Not only the vision, but what's the other?
It's culture.
Culture. And they had the right culture. There were people that were excited to work on it and build with it together, and they all jive together, right?
Yeah. So what's funny is, and this is so dang interesting, when they were building this out and they were beginning to attract, like those first 25 employees that came on, the way he sourced them, these were all friends that he had from college, from Harvard. Like, so they're skilled people, but they were pulling their friends. And he was selective in college who he was hanging out with. Like the people that he hung out with were all like-minded. They stayed up at night. He said it was like there was a group of like 15 to 20 of us that hung out. And so that ended up becoming the same sort of clique that was building this business. And he said that's really what jump started things. And that's why we were able to get so much done, because people weren't just showing up for a paycheck. They were showing up to hang out with their best friends. Like when me and you were doing things, how much more work do we get done when we're working side by side? Because like I just like hanging out with you.
And we vibe, we have really great ideas together. And like, this is what's working in my business. Why don't you try this? We share all kinds of little content ideas and how to stay focused and maximize our abilities. I don't even know if I've given you credit for this. Pro tip. So I was about to sell a deal last week. We were going to make $20,000 selling this deal. And I was like, Marlon, where can I find like some bigger buyers that will buy at a larger price point? By talking to you and spending an additional 6 hours on this, I increased our assignment fee from $20,000 to $100,000 on that deal, which is insane. And that became because I asked you a question and I did the work. You told me where I could go find it, but it's because I was in the right campfire in the right room with somebody who's selling deals for a higher amount.
Yeah. So like know what you're building for. And like this is what's cool. Every time I talk to Caroline about, you're building your business, you guys are going out, and right now you're focused primarily on wholesale high equity pre-foreclosure, wholesale high equity pre-foreclosure. When I talk to you about why you're building it, the answer is never to make more money. Your answer it kind of is in a degree, but it's not for yourself. Your answer is always, I want my team, I want the people working with me to be making $10,000 to $20,000 per month, every single month. That's literally like, and then it's like, so you know what you're building for. And so you don't allow yourself to get distracted by anything else. And also you don't allow anyone to come in who might disrupt that. Because a lot of people are knocking at your door trying to get in. A lot of people are trying to be like, I want to be on Team Caroline.
Yeah.
I want to come and work with you. I want to come do this with you.
Yeah.
And you're like, no.
No, because it's not worth the peace of mind. I've done business with people that I didn't align with before. And I just saw Hormozy shared this today. Oh man, I'm going to find the tweet. He shared a tweet and it was something along the lines of be careful of what you take for free because nothing is truly free.
Yes.
A blank check can be dangerous. And if you're taking on partnerships or if you're working with people, it can suck the life out of you if they're not aligned with the same value that you have. And I see some of my team members are in here in the side chat. I've seen them mentioning things. I vibe with them because we know we're working at a higher level. The goal is to help serve these homeowners. We're helping them avoid financial ruin. We're getting them set up when they're overwhelmed at the most like depressing time of their life. And when we help serve at a higher value, we make more money because of that as well. And then we stopped another auction. Did we buy the house? No, but we stopped another auction. We got a family to be able to stay in their home. They get to redo their credit. And we were just talking about this yesterday when we were driving back. How can I do a better job of serving these families at a higher level and not only stopping their foreclosure, but I want to get them into financial literacy classes so they can have a fresh start because we've all been broke. You were living at your mom's house at one point. Like I was living on my friend's couch. Like we've all
tell people that
we all started somewhere, but we've all had a setback. And I like this sometimes you have to put the car in reverse to be able to go forward. And it's just those little reminders, but it all does come back down to the community, like the culture and the fit and the people you want to be around. So I think you hit the nail on that.
Yeah. So guys, this is a reminder for yourselves. Like how many of you are taking notes right now as you look? Let me know in the chat. How many people are listening with a pen and pencil, a pen and paper, and you're taking notes? Because you need to know what you're building for. If you lose sight of that, it is very easy to turn your entrepreneurial journey into simply just another rat race. But now it's a rat race. You're trapped in a box of your own design. So let's get into lesson number 4. Lesson number 4 is know when to walk away. And what's so funny is I think about this inside. I'll give you Tony's version first from the story of why this stood out to me as a lesson. When he sold Link Exchange. So Link Exchange is the first company he founded. They had a $250 million exit. So the same company that he turned down the $1 million exit on, and then later the $20 million exit, he eventually exited. He sold it to Microsoft for $250 million. Now, a part of that deal, this was so fascinating. When they were working out the details, Microsoft agreed to buy for $250, and the way the sellout would work is Tony effectively would make about $40 million for his portion of equity. which is more money than he would ever need to spend.
Yeah.
This is early, like this is like 1998. So
Okay.
40 million.
It's a lot of money
A
today.
lot of money back in that time. Like that's effectively like getting over $100 million in today's capital. And the way it would be paid out is it was going to get paid out over the course of at the end of a 12-month period. So he needed to stay on as an employee for the company to help the transition.
Gotcha.
If he left before the 12 months, he would have to sacrifice 20% of what he would have made. So I don't know what the math is, 40 million minus 20%. That we're talking about a couple $1 million you're giving up to effectively leave before 12 months severance at that point. Let's see what it is. Times 20%.
Minus 20%.
Oh, minus 20%. So you're talking about giving up $8 million. So check this out. At this point in his building, when he sold that company, he was at that place of that company had grown so quickly and scaled so quickly. After that initial 25 employees who were very high culture fits, they started just hiring left and right. And they weren't hiring for culture. They were hiring for the simple fact of like, we need to scale, we need to get talent in. And he says, I don't know which hire it was. I don't know at what day it happened or what point it happened, but at some point the culture changed. And he said he knew the culture changed when one morning his alarm went off and he hit the snooze button. The alarm went off again and he hit the snooze button. And he found himself tapping the snooze button 7 times before he finally got up and got out of bed. And in that moment, he realized he didn't want to go to work. He didn't want to go to the company that he built. This is the company. This is during the season of them being in negotiations to sell to Microsoft for $250 million. He's not wanting to go to that job, that company that him and his best friends built. And it occurred to him that the culture had shifted. And it was time to leave. And so after he signs the deal with Microsoft and he's now staying on as a part of his 12-month stay, he's just going through the motion of showing up to work and just barely showing up, barely sending emails, barely engaging with people, barely being even a body in a seat. And one day, him and one of his partners that sold, they go to lunch. And while they're sitting at lunch, they're having a conversation of like, all right, I'm gonna go back to the office. And you could just see it on both of their faces. You could read it in the book that neither of them actually want to go back. And he sits down and he reflects and he thinks about it. He's like, what am I sticking around for? I already have more money than I will ever be able to spend, more money than I ever even really need. And I'm staying around to get what? More money? I don't even spend the money I currently have. And so it occurred to him that like, I am wasting my life. Each day that I show up, I am simply going through the motion. This might be someone else's version of success, but it's not mine. And that's it. He decided to walk away from it. He walked away after about 5 or 6 months into his 12th month. Some of you might be like, that's stupid. It's ludicrous. It's crazy. Like, why wouldn't you just stick
You're giving
out
up 8 million.
you're giving up 8 million. Think about it. Like, who wouldn't sit through another 6 months for 8 million? But he understood it wasn't worth his life. It wasn't worth his actual energy. So you've got to know for yourself when it's time to quit, when it's time to walk away. Because truthfully, I've met people who have been financially successful, who have hit the pinnacle of what other people consider the top of the mountain. But on the inside, they are dead. They are useless. They are no longer creating. They are no longer creative. So know when it's time to walk away for yourself.
You're low-key dying too. You're just like, I'm not feeling joy. It's not only weighing down your business, it's weighing down your personal life. It's all going to spill over. Like, I don't know about you guys. You let me know in the side chat, but Marlon, have you ever gone on a vacation where you're on vacation, but you're worrying about work because you don't have enough money to pay for the vacation, or vice versa? You're like,
yeah.
I always tell a story. I'm gonna have to say it on here. When we first started living together, so Marlon's room is across the hall from mine. We were like, our doors are 10 feet apart, so I could see him. So I'd leave my room when we first started living together, and I'd look across the hall, and every time I'd walk by Marlon's room, he looked like this. And I was like, man, this is not the Marlon I'm used to. He's usually all bubbly. And I'm like, what did I do to upset him? Why is he so miserable? And it's because you were drained in your business, man. I don't even know what all you're doing. You were miserable. And then like a few months later, you're like, I just made $1 million, or I've just made $500,000. I'm like, dang, first and foremost, I need to level up my game. And then I thought back and I was like, you were miserable
Yep.
making that money. Like that, you looked the most stressed
I
and
hated it.
the most not fun person I've ever seen.
What's crazy is that wasn't even the most stressed out I've ever been from
Oh,
business,
wow.
like trying to make money. As because like this reason I wrote this lesson down of like knowing to walk away is I told you about a few years back when I came back from a mastermind. I was in my business.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
doing
Oh, this is crazy. You should actually hear this because it made me it reinvigorated what I do and how I coach people because there's so many distractions. So go
Yeah.
ahead.
So check this out, guys. Few years back, I'm getting my traction in wholesale. I got to the point of I was doing 2 to 3 deals a month consistently with good spreads. My marketing expense was probably like $1,000 a month, if even that much, between my VA and my data. And we were doing 2 to 3 deals a month. Our average deal assignment was between $5,000 to $9,000 per deal. So we were making good money. I have no kids. I'm living at home with my mom. I got no rent. Like I'm happy. So I go out to a mastermind, and everyone at the mastermind is talking about scale this and scale that. And the leader of the mastermind is like, yeah, you need to go out and get an integrator, and you need to hire this many teams. And you need to put this many systems in place. And like he's listing all these things so that I can build his version of success. But it wasn't really what I wanted. But I was young, I was naive, I was just listening and just going along with someone else's vision of the future. And so against my own really checking in with myself, I didn't check in with myself, and that was the problem. I just take what he said and I start building that. Like go out and I get an integrator and we start hiring like mad. We go from me and one VA to now me, this partner, and then a team of 15 VAs. Our overhead goes.
Well, not only your overhead. So I'm training a VA right now. And if you don't know what a VA is, it's a virtual assistant from a different country.
Right,
So
employees.
English is not their first language. So you're teaching them to cold call, to go find opportunities for you. So you have to take the time to stop, listen to them, give them role play feedback, make sure they understand why they're calling, what the purpose of it is. And I'm hired with one. You had 15 under your
It
arms at this
was
point.
so
Like
stressful.
he's not giving you enough. Like there's so much to it.
15 of employees. And also we were running a model of business, which was also kind of it wasn't the best model. We're running both our own marketing strategy as well as we're introducing JV leads. So people are submitting deals. So now I've got JV partners that we're also trying to communicate with. And it was just, wow, it was so much stress.
Yeah.
It was miserable. And what's so funny, it's like I related to Tony when he said how he hit the snooze button because I found myself waking up and the first sounds that came out of my mouth this season of my life was
and you need to know this. That I know when Marlon wakes up because every morning he goes, "Ah, it's a great day to be alive." You can hear him from the kitchen.
I'm happy. I like enjoying my life. So during this season, I was not enjoying my life at all. And I'm thinking I'm just supposed to go through the motion. This is what entrepreneurship should feel like. This is what you're supposed to do. And thank God that we have holidays in America because Christmas started to roll around. And so I went back home to New York for that Christmas. And during that time, everyone agreed, hey, we're not going to do any work during that week between Christmas and New Year's. And so I got to totally disconnect from the partner. I got to disconnect from the team. I got to disconnect from the business. And I got to be alone with myself finally. And I just remembered going home to my childhood bedroom, laying on the bed. Luckily, what's funny is actually, I don't even think I told you this. On my wall back home, I have like my first checks and I have like goals written on the board and stuff of that nature. And when I'm looking at my whiteboard that I have my goals written on, nowhere on it did it say build a massive wholesale business. Nowhere. Like the other goals I had written, I was like, I'm not even building towards my goals. What the hell happened?
I got distracted because you heard somebody else pitch their vision, and if you aren't intentional, you'll fall into what somebody else wants.
I was building someone else's vision, and I was like, yo, screw this. Like, seriously, screw this. I don't want to do this anymore. And I decided, I was like, I'm done. And literally, I put a stick of dynamite in that business and exploded it. I was like, I'm not building this.
So one of the things, and if you guys did not know, we just were in Vietnam for 3 weeks, Japan for weeks. We were abroad for a month. And one of the things, even just yesterday, we got to go goof off. We went and saw the new Superman movie.
It was dope.
It was awesome. And we were just like, how lucky are we that we can just do what we want? We went and saw a movie in the middle of the afternoon, and it's like, you build your business. Like, there is a season. Don't get me wrong. Marlon and I are working a lot right now. Like, there's times where you have, like, I've got to be in the work, but there's a purpose for it, and it's going towards your end purpose. But we're building our business around our lifestyle,
Yep.
not our life around our business. You've got to be able to integrate those things. And the funny thing is about your date, because then we went on, I met her as well. We went on to play pickleball, and we're like, so what do you like to do? How do you guys like to do things? We're like, oh yeah, we're planning on going back to Vietnam. We're gonna go do this, and we like to travel. And she's like, you told me, she asked you, so what do you have planned? You're like, well, I can't meet this weekend, but I can meet on a Wednesday here, and the next weekend I'm out of town. And it's just like, we don't realize even anymore like what a regular schedule is, because we are always working, but we're not. We make the schedule around our lifestyle and how it fits, and we get to go be in a different country for an entire month because we can work remote, and we get to experience new cultures, and we get to open our eyes up to new, like, how much fun was the Haijiang Loop?
So much fun.
Like,
I mean, a 4-day motorcycle tour through the beautiful, like, winding mountains of Vietnam.
It was awesome.
Insane.
But we're building our business around our lifestyle, and it came into identifying what the goal is and knowing what we didn't want to do. You got the taste of, this is awful. I did that, but it took me a long. I didn't have that realization on a Christmas break. I was just like, man, I'm scrambling and I'm doing 17 things, and these 17 things are not the best use of my time with the highest return. Like, what is the highest return on investment? Where am I going to feel the happiest, the healthiest, and the most alive? Like, we're in a fun season. We were just talking to Darren. He's like, are you single? I'm like, yeah, I'm single. I'm going to be single for a little bit. And like, I have fun when we play Catan. I have fun when we're going to go off and play pickleball with people, when we go cliff jumping, when we go break down on a jet ski that your friend buys off of Facebook. Like, we have all these stories, but then we get to have, like, I don't know. I don't think Gerald's on here right now. It's so much fun when we talk about Gerald, who's been zoned in, going through the high performance training with you, listening to what we're saying, and just changing his life so he can leave his W-2, spend more time with his family. So we have fun by identifying what sucks and what we don't want to do.
Yeah.
And that's really cool that book's reminding you of that.
100%.
Yeah.
So, and I'm curious for you guys, like, how many of you is this resonating with you? Let me know in the chat. Is it resonating with you, the idea that you shouldn't just be chasing somebody else's version of a dream? And that can happen. That same sort of trap can also happen in entrepreneurship. We all know it can happen in a traditional W-2 career, but I think people fool themselves into saying, yeah, but I'm building my own business, so it's not happening to me. Yeah, but are you building the business you want to build, or are you building someone else's version of a successful business? In which case, this is no different than going and getting a job for someone else, because you're building someone else's reality, not yours.
But the hardest thing too, and I just talked about this because I was on a call with Brandon and Kyle, and I was just like, guys, remember, whoever's telling you the story is going to benefit them. And whatever business they're selling you, it might sound like it's all great, but they're not telling you. They've been delegating stuff for 5 years, and they've been doing this business much longer than a new person who just got started. So they have the experience and they have the ability to identify, is this really worth my time, and is it not? And I think so many of us get wrapped up in, well, if they're doing it, I should be able to do it. Like, I can do 18 things if they're doing 18. Yeah, 1,000%. That's so funny. So like, it's hard to identify like what is true and what's not. And the biggest thing I haven't even read this book yet. I'm gonna read it after Marlon does. But if anybody's watching this and this is resonating with you, and you're seeing somebody having success, like, I don't think it's weird, because I'd rather cut my time down. My sister actually told me one time, she's like, Caroline, you are asking questions and making them uncomfortable. Because I'd ask them questions, hey, what are your goals for the year? What are you trying to accomplish? And they're like, I don't know. I don't have any goals. It was like after the new year. I'm like, why am I hanging around people that don't have goals to push themselves further? And you had somebody come over to the house one time, and I'm like, okay, they might be a housemate in the Mindset Manor. I'm like, okay, how much money are you making a month? And they're like, they couldn't answer that. And I was like, okay. They gave me like a gross number. And I was like, okay, how much are you netting? They didn't know that number either. And it's just, I didn't think it was weird. I want to hang around people that are more successful than me, because they're going to hold me to a higher standard. And this is why I continue to join masterminds. And this is why we read these books, because I think you put this on your Instagram post for what you're going to call this. And what was this on your story when you posted it with me? You said something along the lines of, learning from your own mistakes is good.
Wisdom. That's how I started off, right? Like, intelligence is learning from your own mistakes. Wisdom is learning from the mistakes of others.
And that's a bar. That's straight. Like, how,
that came
like,
off the top.
That came off the top. But like Brandon, when I was speaking to you earlier, same thing with Jerry, Poppy Goose, Steven, all of you guys in here, Zane, Melissa, like, I have already wasted my time. I've wasted time and money by not being super focused on what's going to give me the lifestyle that I want and bring in the money that I want. Cause like, okay, we know people that make lots of money. They make lots of money, but they don't have any friends. They're not sharing with anybody because they're selfish and they're burning bridges. So it's like, okay, I know what I don't want to do. I don't want to just have money. Like, how lonely would it be if you just, dude, you left Vietnam for a little bit to go do your other training
Yeah, I
in
was down in
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Poor guy had to go to Hawaii. But I was like, man, I'm so bored by myself. It's not as much fun traveling when you're not with your friends that you're going to experience and like do all these fun things.
Yep.
So it's more fun to make money together with other people. Don Rich is in here. What's
Don
up, brother?
Rich.
Oh my gosh, dude. I need to come on this
D
YouTube
Rich.
more.
Dude,
This is awesome.
Don is, I freaking love Don.
I love Don Rich. If you guys don't know Don Rich as well, first and foremost, you can, if you see his picture, he is a late night DJ. If you get to hear his voice sometime, it's so silky smooth. Probably one of our first people that taught us some sales training.
100%.
This guy is doing assisted living.
He's doing assisted living, and he's doing, what's cool is Don's actually been getting into schools, helping children with mental health. And now he's even helping adults. He's getting in with corporations and helping out with adults with their mental health. So I love Don Rich. Don is actually, I'm the mindset guy for a lot of people, but when I need my own mindset worked on, right, I go to Don Rich. Don Rich is like one of the people I pick up the phone and I call him. Well, shout out to Don.
Love Don Rich. Good to see you, brother. Awesome.
All right, so let's jump into lesson 5 because this is in alignment with, it's so funny. This is in alignment with where Caroline started taking this conversation, which is ultimate happiness is just enjoying life. We often think about success as being the destination. I hear it all the time. Like when I'm a success, when I'm a success. If when I'm a success is the words that come out of your mouth, you will never be successful. Being successful isn't about getting to a final location. It is about doing what you want to do. Like my definition of success is the person who is realizing a worthy ideal. The success is a person, Caroline is building the business she wants to build. She is already a success. The amount of money in her bank account, the amount of deals she has, the amount of HUDs, those aren't the things that make her a success. The fact that she's a success is coming from she's building, she's actively in the process of doing the thing that she wants to be doing, right? A mother who wants to be a mother, that woman is a success because she wants she's being a mother. A school teacher who wants to be a school teacher. I'm so tired of people being like, oh, well, no, that person's a success because they've accomplished this or they've climbed the mountain. No, those are accomplishments that they have. That's the stuff on their resume. But if they're doing those things and they don't necessarily want to do it, you're not a real success. Building a business and making a lot of money does not make you successful if at the end of the day, you want to take your life for it. I mean, how many people have we seen who have hit worldly amounts of success? They have all the accolades. They've got the trophy wife. They've made the money. They have the house. They have the car. But internally, they're not happy. I grew up in the suburbs of Long Island. I met a lot of these people who had all the outward signs of success, but internally, they were miserable. They hated their life. They hated their spouse. Some of them didn't even like their kids, unfortunately, because they didn't like themselves because they copped out. They gave up. They never actually went for what was on their heart. They never chased their personal dream. So this was something that Tony made it a point that ultimate happiness is just enjoying your life. And he proved it by turning down $1 million, turning down $20 million, walking away from an additional $8 million because he's like, I am not going to spend an extra single day. Think about that, guys. He only had to spend 6 more months and he didn't even really have to do anything. He literally just had to show up for 6 months and he would have made $8 million more. And he said, screw that, because what's the point? Guys, keep in mind, we might all die tomorrow.
That's like that. I literally just had this conversation with somebody today. Like, hey, I don't think I'll be able to do this. Parents are ill. I'm taking, like, that's a tough season. You know, your parents are aging out. Your kids are graduating. It's really hard. You're never going to get this time back. And tomorrow is not promised. I always am reminded my grandpa, my mom's dad, died unexpectedly at 69. Just in his sleep, passed out. Actually, I think he laid down to go to sleep and just died. No signs of bad health. I mean, he was a party animal, but you wouldn't have known, like, he didn't have any signs of it. And it's just like, that is a reminder. It's in the back of my head. My dad has almost passed away a few times in the last few years, alcoholic. But, you know, you realize time is short. And why am I like, I sent you a funny meme. I love that we send memes back and forth too. But I sent a meme and it was kind of one of those memes. It's like, what do you mean? It was like, what do you mean I don't look like I'm having a good time? Like giving like a dirty, it's like you're frustrated. Like, why waste time with people who aren't adding any value to your life, or you're miserable, or they're blowing smoke up your rear end? This is not worth my time. Let me go do things that I resonate with. How can I give back to my community? Like, we have fun helping out. So yeah, why would you waste your time?
Yeah. And guys, I've been there. Like, I know this lesson to be true. And I think that's why it stood out to me, because I've spent a lot of years in my past pretending, going through the motion, doing what I was supposed to do, taking the safe ride.
Eventually it's going to happen. Somebody's going to come to save me. I'm going to figure it out.
And what I discovered is your life is waiting on you. It's like the things that you want in life are literally just waiting on you to say, okay, now, to be urgent, not to be in a rush, but to just have a sense of urgency that now, like the only time that exists is actually right now. And if you're not going to do anything about your life and your situation right now, then there is no other time to do anything about it. I'm just being for real. Like, there literally is no other time. It's only right now. So that's lesson 5. That ultimate happiness is just enjoying life.
I'm slowing you down. We're already at 50 minutes.
Yep. Oh, shoot.
I know, I'm slowing you way down.
So well, honestly, guys, we probably won't get through all the lessons, but it's all good. It's all good.
You'll have to go buy the book.
So lesson 6, I think you're going to like this.
Can't wait.
Long-term thinking will always beat short-term.
I feel attacked because I feel like I used to be such a short-term thinker. And this is something I've talked about with people who are near. Sometimes if you don't have your basic needs covered, you cannot think long-term. Where's my next meal going to come from? How am I going to be able to afford this? And if you guys don't know this, I did mention earlier that I lived on somebody's couch for a little bit. I lived in Florida in 2020. You know me when I first joined the mentorship that we were a part of. And before I moved out here, I had a 2005 Jeep Laredo that had been totaled. My mom's like, here, take this. It's paid off. I gave up my lease. I had a lease that I should have kept that. It was a $2 payment for my Honda Accord. But I gave up my lease because my mom told me I should do this. And I buy this, and I'm using this car now so I can haul these bikes everywhere because I had a bike shop. And I knew the Jeep was going to die. Like, it was leaking oil. The main seal was leaking oil. Like, I figured out how to be poor. I went to Take 5 Oil. Pro tip, if you guys are really poor and need oil, Take 5 Oil gives you unlimited oil top-offs for 6 months. So I'd go get my oil refilled like every other month because it was just burning oil. And my tires got so bald, I'd see the metal weaving on my tires.
Ooh, yep,
so I just carried, we've been poor, man. We've been poor. So I just carried one of those like bike or tire pumps that plugs into your electric cigarette thing. And I'd be at like, I wouldn't go far. I'd go to like the grocery store, my little trips I had to make, and I'd fill my tires up. It'd take me 10 minutes, fill the tires and continue on. And I just like, when I got into real estate investing, I got into it for the wrong reasons. I got into it to make money. I'm going to go find these ugly houses. I'm going to go give them a cash offer. I'm going to wholesale and I'm going to make $10,000 per house. And I went down YouTube University and I ended up, cold calling. I went through the TTP program with Brent Daniels. I learned how to cold call, and I was calling all these really bad looking houses. I drive 6 a.m. in the morning. I'm like, this house, shit, terrible. I'm going to add them to my list. And I call them and would you like to sell your house for cash? Leave me alone. You're just this. I'm like, okay, I'm not calling for the right reason. I wasn't calling the motivated list. And I needed money because I couldn't plan long-term. I needed to get this immediate money right now.
Yep.
And then I would make a little bit of money and I'd take my foot off. And then I'd fall back into that cycle again. I wasn't thinking long-term. And I did that for this is why I tell everybody to not make the same, like when I'm like, Caroline, don't make the same mistakes that I did in 20. Like when I'm talking to you guys, I'm talking to the younger version of me because I know what it's like to be like, I want to buy property so I can have that passive income. I'm going to do this so I can make enough money. I can give back to the Boys and Girls Club. I can do all these things, but I was focused on the wrong thing and I was thinking too short-term and I didn't give myself enough runway to go long-term because I got into this with like no money.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting, right? Because there is that season, and this is so true, and this is the reality. So like, here's the rub. It is really hard to think long-term when you are in survival mode. That's why when people are like, should I quit my job and go and pursue real estate full-time? Even though I know you can make a lot of money in real estate, I typically tell most people no. I'm like, have your job for now, have some sustainable income so it can allow you while you're working on your real estate business to be able to operate with long-term strategy. Because here's the discipline that most people are missing, right? They're missing the discipline to maintain correct behavior even through bad outcomes. When you learn to think long term, you learn how to discipline yourself to continue using correct behavior, even though it's bad outcomes you might get in. For example, we play sports, right? We
Mhm.
play a lot of pickleball,
Mhm.
and you might be teaching somebody the correct form on how to hit the ball and they get the ball proper, but the other person spikes it back down at them. Should that person now immediately say, well, let me change everything about how I'm playing? It's like, no, like it was a bad outcome, but you did the correct thing. Keep using the same form. When you call a homeowner and that person doesn't want to sell to you, that person cusses you out, says, get off, go kick rocks. I'm not selling. Don't say, well, this doesn't work. Let me go and switch it up. That's what most people do. No, you did the right thing. It was a bad outcome, but it was the right behavior.
You need more reps. This is one thing I talked to Lindsay. I'm like, what do I need to do to help you? And I love this. I keep saying this. Just needs more at bats. I
Yeah.
need more at bats. I need more opportunities. You need to get more of those hits. You need more singles. We don't need a grand slam every time. You just need to have more opportunities to see the difference. And one thing I want to remind everybody, this is what we did. If you do not have a W-2, self-feed pictures like we did for a while. Self-feed pictures, make some money there, and then I'm just kidding. But make some money, do
I'm
what you make some money before you're going all in. Like have that safety net, because the amount of people who come over to, at least to me, I get the messages of, hey, I maxed out my credit cards trying to learn this, or somebody almost gave me a heart attack today and told me their expenses every month were $13,000. And I was like, oh my gosh. And how much money are you bringing in? Nothing. And I was like, what? Selfie pictures.
No, I get the same thing. I get the same sort of messages. And like that's why I make these YouTubes for free, right? Like that's why this is my way. Cause like guys, I'm a coach. I'm a high performance coach. People pay me thousands of dollars to work with me. I love them. You guys have seen some of my clients. You've seen some of the success stories. So that's cool. I don't need to talk about that right now. However, there are people that they want to work with me. They cannot yet afford to work with me, and I don't do discounts. And so what I do, however, is I come onto YouTube, I go onto Instagram, and I will do my best to still share content that is just as valuable, same sort of content that my paid clients are getting. I will come here and give it to you guys for free so that you can learn as well, because I want to see you win. And so a part of that, though, is you need to be able to put yourself in a position to play with long-term.
Well, so I'm going to circle back to a conversation I had earlier today. And like all of us want to make good money. I think inherently this is just talking to you about this. I was talking to Greg Clark about this.
Uh-huh.
Talking to Greg, and he said, I just got off the phone with somebody in Canada. Everybody that we know in our mentorship is incredible. They're super kind. Like that's everybody wants to do good. Inherently, we want to like make the world a better place than we found it. We want to set our family up for success. Like I'm fine with paying taxes and supporting a kid getting free school lunches because it's not the child's fault. Like I think all of us are the same. Like kids deserve all of these opportunities now. But what we want to like highlight for all of you is don't make the same mistakes as us, and don't try and recreate a wheel because it doesn't work the first time. If they do spike the ball at you and you're just learning pickleball, that's okay. You just need more at bats. If you are getting started in real estate, don't agree to the first opportunity. You should trust and verify. So you have a lot of coaching clients that I've seen have success. I've gotten coaching from you. You've changed my life. And this is the coolest thing too. You've changed my life, which has impacted me. And by proxy, you've impacted everybody that I've impacted. Isn't that so cool, the little ripple effect? The question I have, though, is if you're getting started right now and you cannot think long term, what would you do to make sure you have a safe reset so you can do this in like a controlled environment so you're not wasting your energy?
I love that. So my advice to people would be, first off, it's okay to have a job. Please stop hating on jobs. Especially, like, think about this logic for a minute. Most of you are trying to start a business. You're trying to build a business. At some point, you're going to need to hire employees. If you're over here talking so much crap about having a job and being an employee, what sort of employees do you think you're going to eventually attract into your business? Like attracts like. So I was grateful for my jobs when I had them, even the ones I didn't necessarily enjoy doing. And what's funny is we still work. Like I work as an independent contractor. I think I don't know if you're salaried or if you're an independent contractor.
I'm salaried.
So you're salaried, but like we have stable sources of income outside of our entrepreneurial business.
But it doesn't, this is the good one. I don't want you to lose your train of thought, but our other income that we have is not like we can live on this for the rest of our life.
No,
It's just like it covers basic expenses.
it allows us to think long term. So I want you, if you need to, it's okay to pull back. It's okay to take a step back and have something that's stable that allows you to take care of your day to day so you're not in survival mode. You need to be able to afford your rent. If your rent is still too expensive, then move back home with family. There's nothing wrong with that. The entrepreneur that helped me step into this space as well, you remember him, Max Maxwell,
Oh yeah,
one of
that's
the
it. That's how I
original,
got into YouTube
yeah,
University. It was
one of
Max
the
Maxwell.
original influencers on
He's
YouTube
disappeared.
for real estate. Well, he's out in Dubai living
I
his
know,
life
yeah.
now. But he was in a place where at the age of like 33, 34, he had
Living
to
at his
go back
mom's.
home. Like he literally was defeated. He went back home, lived in his mom's basement as a grown man. He had already moved out. He went back home to his mom's basement so he can get back on his feet. And then he allowed himself to rebuild from there. So get yourself back to a stable place where you're not as concerned about day-to-day income anymore. Some of our friends have driven Lyft. One of our buddies, he drove Lyft for 2.5 years because he came to this country with nothing. He used Lyft to pay for his day-to-day. And check it out, we all have 24 hours in a day. He would make calls in between the Lyft drives. He'd pull over on the side of the highway with a notebook and his cell phone, and he used his cell phone as a hotspot. He didn't make excuses. It was tough. It would have been nicer for him to be able to be stable, to be at home, but he worked with what he had. But he made sure that his day-to-day bills were taken care of. So that allowed him never to have to rush into a bad deal. He wasn't emotional. He was able to disconnect emotionally from bad deals and just fight for what it needed to be. So my advice to you guys is if you need to, go and get stability in your life again in the form of whatever. In fact, we were talking about Gerald. Shout out to Gerald because Gerald in this past month alone has closed about $60,000, a little over $60,000 worth of assignments.
In this month?
Well, this past month.
Okay.
But Gerald and you were there. We were heading to pickleball. We were in the car. I had Gerald on speaker.
Oh yeah.
We were talking about 3 or 4 months ago, before the deals had started closing. He was like, dude, I'm actually down to my last dollar. And this is like while I'm coaching him. He's like, what do I do? Like, I don't want to give up on this dream, but like I need to pay my bills today. And Gerald has a skill. Gerald used to be a barber. And I said, Gerald, you have a skill to make money immediately. On the weekends, have people come through to your house, cut hair in the garage. Like you're not giving up on the dream by doing this. You're not acknowledging defeat, but you are doing something strategic to take care of you, to take care of your wife, to take care of your daughter, so that you can feed them, so that you know they're taken care of. And it allows you to be present again and think and work on your long-term plan of real estate. And as a result, guess what? He bought himself time. He used the day to day, he used his ability to earn money, his W 2 effectively, to pay for the runway that allowed the plane to take off. A lot of you are trying to take a plane off with 10 inches of runway.
Question. So circling back to Gerald, we should have Gerald on here next time. I'm just gonna invite myself onto Marlon's podcast. And is anybody getting any
Ooh,
value out of
I
this? Is
love
this
this too.
resonating with anyone here? Oh, go ahead.
And Zane says, I'm thankful for my W 2. I can support my family of 6. My W 2 is what allowed me to work, trade my time for money to afford to hire Marlon, and learn that trading time for money is just one step. So Zane's someone, he's come out to the mastermind. Zane's someone that I work with in high performance coaching. And what's so cool is I think I did like a testimonial video of Zane talking about, he's like, yeah, I've got like before all this, I was spread out all over the place. I got my property, like I had a property that wasn't cash flowing, got it cash flowing. I was able to start my coaching. So Zane teaches entrepreneurs how to actually defeat insomnia without getting on pills. Because Zane's background as a nurse, Zane actually understands medicine and the human body extremely well. It's insane. But he was able to leverage. He was looking at first, because you know how the communities we're in.
Yeah.
Everyone talks so much smack about a job. And we're like, no, dude, your job is your funding partner. Like your job is literally like even your job is your funding partner.
Yeah,
It gave
we can
you
go get loans.
the bandwidth to be able to go out and get the data and to be able to afford the things that you can let your team work, because you spend a lot of money on your data.
I spend a lot of money on my business.
So
I wouldn't. Yes, your W-2 gives you a lot of opportunity. The question I wanted to ask though, before I forget, because we both will go on an ADD tangent with Gerald.
Mhm.
So Gerald found you, went into high performance coaching, and he was still, because I do remember that conversation. That was a while ago. Of
Yeah.
like, dude, I don't want to barber anymore. Like I want to go all in. But it does provide that stability. So with Gerald, the question is, because he would come in, he'd get some role play practice from us, he'd ask us questions. How long did it take Gerald to see results? And the biggest difference, I think, being around you, I always say this, Marlon calls himself boring. I think you're one of the most interesting people. One, because when you look at me, nothing else in the world matters. If you guys can't see his cocoa eyes really well in this lighting, but really, if you guys ever get the chance to talk to Marlon, I've actually had to pull him away from people because he'll get lost in the conversation. I'm like, we've been here for 4 hours. We have to go. But he really, you focus on one thing at a time, which is a superpower. I can multitask, which is a gift and a curse. How did Gerald get lined up and focus on one? Like, why did you tell him to focus on one thing? What are the biggest problems you see with the clients that you have? And in the time of him focusing, how quickly did he see results?
Okay, so the number one problem, and this is arguably 90+% of entrepreneurs. In fact, I'm going to say this, and I'm sure a majority of you are going to relate to this problem right now. The majority of entrepreneurs, they are spread way too thin. They are trying to do too many things all at once. And here's a sign that this is you. You are always busy doing something, but seemingly never getting any. If you can relate to that, if that's like, yeah, like I am always like, I'm not lazy. I'm always going. I'm go, 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 go. But it's been 6 months. It's been a year. It's been 2 years. And I do not have the results yet. Like, what the hell is going on? I already know what your issue is. You are lacking attention. You're lacking focus. You're doing too many things. You don't even need to talk to me. I know what it is. I've seen the pattern so many damn times. Monica says shiny object syndrome. Monica's absolutely right.
Love Monica. She actually lives in Reno. I should have got you guys to connect.
Oh, that would have been so cool.
Monica, Marlon was just in Reno. Sorry, keep going. We won't lose it. Just focus.
With Gerald and with all my clients, the big thing that we do is I instill high performance habits, because habits start to create your behaviors create your beliefs create your self-image create your identity, and your identity creates your results. So I start at the level of habits. And one of the major habits that I install with every single person is the habit of generating and seeking clarity. It's being able to get crystal clear on what is the one thing. If you can't tell me what the one thing is, then I know for damn sure you're not communicating it to your team. You're not communicating it to your customers. You're not communicating it to the marketplace. You're not communicating it to yourself. The reason your spouse is pissed off at you is because you're communicating 15 different things and you're never communicating one thing. The reason your partners are pissed off because you don't communicate one thing. You're all over the place. You're talking about 12, 15, 30 different things, and you never actually produce one. When you start to get clear on the mission, most people are more than capable of doing things. What's so fascinating is your job. You might hate your job, but the reason you excel at your job is because somebody was able to come into your life, your employer was able to come in front of you and say, this is the one thing I need you to focus on. And even though you hate your job and you're not passionate about it, you still progress and excel. Why? Because the mission and the focus is clear. But then you don't do that for yourself in your own business. So that's the main thing. I think if I answered your question.
You did answer it. And the one thing I would add is Gerald didn't do it alone. So I think so many of us are thinking, I have to have my own business. I have to do the dispo. I have to understand how to underwrite. I have to have a TC. I have to, whatever your business is, I have to do all these things by myself. I was able to, and if you hear one thing out of this, like one, have clarity. The next important thing is if you guys have sales can help you outperform bad systems, bad marketing. As long as you guys are getting sales down and you have money coming in, your business will succeed. If you do not have sales, you do not have a business. You must have leads. Like that is the lifeblood of your company. If you don't have any money coming in, you can't do anything. And sales is a skill. So I want to say all that, but Gerald didn't do it alone.
No.
And we, like our first few deals that we did, we didn't do it alone. The way that we've been able to excel, you've gotten high performance coaching. I've gotten high performance coaching. We go to masterminds. We work on our sales skills. We get trainers. We hang out with the top performers so we can be a top performer ourselves. And I think when I got started, there's opportunity cost. And if you're not if you guys are getting any value out of this and you're not sharing it with people you think might have some value, you're holding somebody else back this might change their life. And because you share it, they might reply to you and like, man, that resonated with me and I can solve your problem because you told me about it.
Hold that thought for 2 seconds because that idea of sharing, I literally just sent a text message to Will Ayarza 2 nights ago,
Yeah.
randomly. I think it was right after I texted you
Yeah.
because, like, I was just feeling really grateful and I was reflecting, and I sent a text message to Will, just said, "Thank you." Like, dude, I owe you a major debt of gratitude because about 5 years ago, Will one night was watching a Facebook Live with this real estate investor teaching some stuff, and he shared it to me. He literally said, I remember the video he sent to me. He shared it while it was live. He said, "You need to get on. I'm learning so much on this video. You need to come and be here right now." And he was insistent on it. It wasn't like a here's the link and he didn't follow up. He actually called me and said, "Hey, are you watching this?" He got me on. And because of that, that actually, I wouldn't have met you.
Mm-mm.
That introduced me into a
Yeah.
mentorship program. In that mentorship program, I met you. I met a lot of our friends. I started to get the results I'm getting now. And so I just really want to highlight that fact because it was so interesting that that came back up to me randomly over the weekend. And you're saying this right now, the importance of sharing. Like, so if you've been getting value on this, don't wait until, okay, maybe it's over. Let me share it now. Share the value. That's how you become more of an abundant person. Well,
Then you get a lot of opportunities. Actually, I was just messaging Will earlier today. When you get, this is the cool one of the lessons I've learned from a previous mentor. I've found myself doing this too. Have you guys ever had somebody message you and they're just asking you for something? You're like, great,
mhm.
here's Bobby Joe. He only ever texts me when he needs something. Here he comes again. If you ever pick up your phone and your first thought is to ask somebody for something before you've thanked them or shared value, you don't deserve to ask them for anything.
Don't.
And that is like I've done that. One time I went to message somebody, I was like, I have no right asking them for anything.
Yes.
I haven't interacted with them. Let me go send them some love. And I sent them love. And then they replied with, "Oh my gosh, I was thinking about you earlier. Man, it's so good to hear from you. Do you need anything right now? What can I help you with?" If somebody reaches out to me and they lead with value, or if they compliment me, words of affirmation is my love language, I will go out of my way and I'll give you more time. Like I cannot, it's the mommy and daddy issues in me. It's the big sister. I'm the oldest. I was given words of affirmation as a praise. That works for me. I will stop what I'm doing and give you more time out of my day if you have been kind to me. That's a little other nugget. Did we answer the thing about Gerald though? Getting clarity?
I think we did. I think
We're
we
going on
answered
these
we
tangents.
answered the question about clarity. Like, so guys, getting clarity is key. And like Caroline mentioned, you don't have to get it all by yourself.
Mhm.
Right. In fact, most of the time, being honest, you can't get all the clarity you need by
No.
yourself. You can't get it you can't be in an echo chamber with yourself. You need outside perspective. This is why I personally have hired a coach. This is why Caroline hires a coach. This is why we will sit and talk to each other, and I will bring my business problems to Caroline. Caroline will bring her business problems to me, and we will work them out loud to another person. So I'm
Thank
going to
you,
tell you
Monica.
all this right now. If any of you are in that season of you're like, I am tired of being stuck. I'm tired of spinning in circles. I'm tired of wasting my life. I know I have this potential, but I have not been able to unlock it by myself. You're not screwed up, not messed up. You just need help. If you think I can help you, reach out to me. DM me the word coach on Instagram. Let's have a conversation. Let's see if I can help. If I can't, I'll do my best to point you in the right direction. But I want to help as many people as I can. I want to help you guys unlock your next level and grow. But on that note, we are 8 minutes over the hour. I've had fun. Did you guys have fun with Caroline on? Like, should we bring Caroline? Is that
Who showed
on?
up? Dude, that's Aing. Aing is on here. Our
Aing's on-
driver from Vietnam is on my Instagram live. What's up, Aing?
That's so dope. So, guys, let me know in the chat. Should we bring Caroline back on in the future? Should I like convince her to come back? Because I enjoy having you on.
You'll
the,
have
the
to shower
podcast.
me with gifts and all
Isn't she
kinds
so
of
amazing?
things.
Doesn't she bring good energy? Caroline just like she brightens up everything she's a part of. Every room she steps in.
That's racist. It's because I'm pale and lights reflect off of me.
So, guys, we're gonna wrap up the show, but I want you to share this podcast. If you got value from this today, I want you to share this out with a friend and make sure you are subscribed. We'll be back next week. Next week, I'll be making a point to finish up the other 12 lessons that we did not touch. But Caroline, thank you so much for being here.
Marlon, I want to just say thank you for investing in yourself because I get better because of you and I get to hang out with all these fun people. Like I get to connect with all of you guys. I appreciate you reading that and sharing the book with me. Give Marlon some love. Thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it.
I love that. And final thing, Monica said, I came on this live ready to take a nap, and now I'm ready to get my ass back.